Hey guys, how's it going? To any of you, nobody showed up on the actual stream, but to any of you that are watching it from the beginning, I noticed that probably most of the time it starts with me just kind of not saying jack shit toward the beginning, and I just started thinking like, wait a minute, um, that might be an issue, considering that some people get on and they're probably looking for something to listen to right off the bat, and I might as well start yammering about something or another. But usually, I want to take my time because I want to let some people get on that might be interested in whatever it is that's being discussed. Well, that's an ad, so we don't need that. Creative Commons, yes, so we don't get in trouble. And something that will continuously play for extended periods of time. But what do we have? What do we have here? I don't know what some of this stuff is, but let's see if this works. That's too relaxed. That sounds like we're gonna get our fuck on. I don't like that one. Let's try this one. There we go. This isn't too bad. This isn't too bad right here. This is pretty chill. It's under, it's a Creative Commons, but it's under lo-fi music to code too. So I like music that's good for coding, I guess. I'm listening to. Where's the volume mixer? Making sure the volume isn't fucking crazy high. No, it looks like it's fine. If the volume's too crazy, guys, tell me. That'd be good. Hey, what's up, Ninomo? I'm on the live stream Discord. If anybody's welcome to jump on that wants to. Any garden hermit. But yeah, I just want to talk about something different today. Audio's good? Oh, that's awesome. I wanted to talk about something a little different today. Yesterday's stream was so fucking somber. It got really like depressing and doomery because of me, mostly. I was having a pretty rough, one of them rough anhedonia sort of days, / depression. And so things got a little dicey. You did listen to it, Ninomo? Fuck. Yeah, man. That one was a little embarrassing, but I think it's good for other Zoids to see, our not our greatest moments, I guess emotionally or whatever, so that other people can relate to it. So, I mean, it's good in that sense, but it's still really fucking cringe. I mean, I'm a fucking Zoid. I can't help but feel like it's fucking cringe. Let me link this shit up so some peeps can watch it. Usually I get more people when I put it on the Discord. I just think it's funny that I can't that I honestly can't use social media with you guys, which is fucking hilarious. It's kind of honestly is really representative of the Zoid, like how we are and how we think, and the fact that I can't use social media to get a hold of any of you guys. It's both frustrating because obviously it would make it a hell of a lot easier, but also kind of wholesome that I don't really have to use it. At least not with you guys. If I'm trying to I guess spread more to like normies and other people, like more neurotypical individuals, to listen to the stuff we have to say, then yeah, I'm gonna have to use. I use social media for those kind of attempts, but outside of that, luckily not with you guys. Here, I'm gonna post the link on the Discord so anybody can hop in that wants to talk about it. Gonna talk weird ideas and paranormal concepts and theoretical nonsense or experiences. I have a specific intent for the subject matter. It isn't just like, ooh, let's tell spooky ghost stories. That could be fun though. I'm not gonna lie, that's always fun. See here, jump on at Garden Hermits. Yes. There we go. Cool. I think that should do it. Let me get started on this. Hey, what's up, E-Man? Man, you're always on for this shit. It's like you're fucking waiting, huh, E-Man? You're just fucking waiting. That's good though, man. I'm glad you enjoy it. You're gonna end up being one of the the most regular, I guess, for the streams. I think the last fucking what, like 6 fucking streams or something I've done or more. You've been on. At least it feels that way. Oh man. Just clocked out of work and Discord beat me. I know, man. You're like, yeah, something to listen to. Something to waste more of my time and survive this terrible existence. But yeah, today man, come on, let's get to like 5 people before I start yammering. I prefer like at least 5 peeps jump on. Give it a minute. You guys tell me a little bit what's going on with you. What's going on with you, Ninomo? What's up? What you up to today, man? Besides, staring at the ceiling like the rest of us. Not much besides just the same shit, different day, yeah. Well, as I like to say, same shit, different toilet. Right. That's generally how I like to say it. It gets a laugh out of like regular people when they ask you, how are you? But it's also kind of dismissive enough to where they might not pry, because they just assume you're kind of negative. So that's pretty cool. Hey, Magenta.
Hey.
Oh, Tina. Shit. Both of you jumped on.
Yeah, we thought we'd come over and give you some company and support and answer the questions and things and
see what you're up to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Don't worry. It's not going to be like last time's stream. I'm not doing that again. Not for a while. I'll be okay. I was having a particularly rough day yesterday. So, yeah, as you can imagine. But today I'm doing significantly better. I saw the therapist, so that was helpful. My psychologist. So had a helpful conversation that kind of put a temporary pep in my step.
Yeah, I mean, the stream wasn't up immediately, so I watched the one with Nanomo. I laughed my ass off with the "you talk too much," and then you guys went on.
Oh, at the beginning where Ninomo was telling me that I talk too much?
It was so hilarious.
It's okay.
Like I found that really funny.
Well,
like,
I mean, I do.
You guys have a good dynamic. Like
that's what I told him. Like I like our dynamic because like his calm demeanor, the calm, just chill, sort of like indifferent, more aloof sort of nature is probably very relatable to a lot of Zoids out there, and my more eccentric one is probably relatable to a different variant of Zoid. Like more people like probably peeps like Gabriel or like and so on, like Alpha, like they're a little more goofy and eccentric, like in the way they speak and everything. So it's cool. I like the way you said it. Would you say Ninomo? Or I say Ninomo. Would you say Ninomo?
Sorry if I'm butchering your name, Nanomo.
No. Actually, I don't even know if it's Ninomo or Nanomo. If you want to correct us, you can. I like Nanomo.
I'm stuck to the Scandinavian way.
Yeah, but your way sounds better. Actually, I like the way it sounds better. Nanomo. That sounds better than Ninomo. Like I like Nanomo. It's not as adorable, but I like Nanomo. It sounds a little spookier. I kind of dig that. It fits that little avatar of his. Tina says it the right way. It's pronounced Nanomo. Ah, okay. Thanks, Nanomo. You fucking this whole time, bastard never told me that I was saying it wrong. Okay, so
we in the Danish language, we kind of make the words flow together. And a lot of, like, if you see, like, written words, some of them are, how do you say, you don't, they are silent.
Yeah.
So it just flows.
Yeah. That's funny, man. Yeah, Nanomo just told me, I literally told you in DMs, and I believe him. I probably didn't remember or care.
And not the words, the letters are silent. That's what I mean. Yeah. Nanomo. Yeah.
But that was a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable stream.
No, I'm glad you found it enjoyable. How you doing, Magento? What? I like how you came in here saying it almost felt like and I don't mean this in a negative way, but it almost felt like you came in here to check on me. Like, is he okay now? Is he okay? Is he not? Did he calm down? Does he need support? The poor gent. Is he going to lose his mind again? Should I be there to like help him not go off the rails?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. That wasn't your intent jumping on, was it? Like, oh no, he's gonna ruin his platform again.
No, it was just, I don't know. I just thought I'd hop on and we'd give you some company.
Fuck you, Nanomo. Grandpa Angst needs support and hugs after his cry fest yesterday. Fuck you, buddy. Who said? Somebody else said the same shit. It wasn't Nanomo. Somebody else said some comment in the server. I'm like, you fuckers, you know how to get to me because that shit's so fucking cringe and embarrassing. And you know, as a Zoid, like, the fucking worst, one of the worst things is, you know, other people seeing something like that. Right? Am I right or wrong in that one? Like, which one of you guys wants to get caught crying in front of anybody? So, that shit's fucking horrible. Especially when you didn't have any like real control over it happening. It was just like an automatic weird response that I was getting. But felt like my eyes were having a seizure.
Yeah, I think we have the ability, like, we cry and we don't really, how do I explain, access where it actually comes from. It's just kind of like biological. It just happens.
It's weird. I feel like I know I feel like shit, but I don't quite understand why.
But we as Zoids also have the ability to we find it cringy and we find it really strange and something that we can't comprehend because it doesn't come natural to us.
Nope.
But we also have the ability to brush it off. Like, okay, yeah, I cried. So yeah, that happened. So what?
Fuck you, deal with it. Yeah.
Yeah, still, exactly.
It's still like really like when somebody mentions it, it's still like, oh man, like, like please don't mention it. But I don't get annoyed. It's just more like, you fucking prick. But nothing else. At least that's my response in that sense. But I am doing, like I said, significantly better today. QQT, hey, what's up, QQT? Let me fucking move my fan here. It's fucking warm. Get closer, bastard. Keep it from rotating. Shit. I have like fucking 4 fans in this fucking bedroom, I swear. I gotta get the AC out, but I've been too lazy to do it. But it hasn't been hot enough yet. But it's getting there. It's getting there. It's Cali, so it's not quite there yet, but we're gonna move into it. All right, cool.
What's the temperature there? Just
Oh,
out of
it's
curiosity.
cool. It's like 80 or something. Nothing crazy. Well, I don't know. You guys use your. I use my American. I measure in burgers, so I don't know. I don't know how many burgers you guys are, but
Yeah,
80 burgers. 80,
yeah.
80 chili
It's
dogs.
it's good Gabriel isn't here, but Celsius, thank you.
Oh yeah, no, fuck you. I don't use Celsius. I'm American. I don't know what the Celsius is, honestly. I don't care to. You can figure. It's called Google. Just type in 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh, what's that in Celsius? There, that'll give you your answer. I don't remember the conversion. Nor do I care to remember it. That's like 25 degrees Celsius. Okay. There, thanks, E-Man. Like I just don't see the point unless I'm working in a laboratory or something. Like I don't see any fucking reason to use the Queen's temperature. I don't see the purpose because like it doesn't really help me to know that in the common parlance in the United States and amongst the people that I generally talk to outside of the stream. Like I'm probably gonna have to learn some of that measurement stuff a little better just because I get an audience it's kind of more global. So maybe that'll give me the incentive to learn Celsius and everything else. Hey, you know what, E-Man? I gotta agree with you. Kelvin is really where it's at. I know, right? Kelvin. The Kelvin. Fuck all this Celsius, Fahrenheit shit. Let's do it by Kelvin. Fucking. Anyway. So, today, since we already got like 7 or 8 people, what I wanted to talk about today, was something kind of weird. But not too weird. Like I kind of baited you guys probably with the stream title, because I'm not really looking to like ooh, let's talk spooky stories. Like I like shit like that. I'm not gonna lie. I'll listen to people's spooky stories if anybody has one, but and it's fun. But what I'm primarily concerned with is the conversation pertaining to the belief in the connection between the belief in a empiricist position and the belief in like a completely, say, metaphysical, intangible, or rationalist one. Like not where because with rationalism can allow you to make sense or accept certain premises that don't require a empirical evidence, right? Because you rationalize into a certain position and kind of come to specific. You start from a conclusion and then you go back to the specifics. And empiricism starts with the specifics and goes to the conclusion. So then you end up with completely different. Sometimes you end up with similar conclusions, obviously, but and oftentimes. Deductive and inductive reasoning obviously work hand in hand, but many times they seem to be like very, very isolated, those two. And especially when you're talking about the subject of, say, what is considered to be metaphysical, paranormal, so on and so forth, beyond the scope of what is scientifically measurable. And I just find that subject interesting because similarly to like a few streams ago, I had said kind of off the cuff, I had said that I don't see much of a difference. Sorry, drinking iced tea. I don't see much of a difference between the atheist who is adamant that there is no God or an afterlife or whatever, and the religious individual that is adamant otherwise. And both people will say to each other, the atheist might say to the theist, "Oh, you're just afraid of oblivion. You're just afraid of death, and what the reality of it." And then And then I said that the theist can argue that the atheist is merely afraid of eternal life, and that they're both just trying to cope in one respect or another. And that kind of led me to think about this, like that the empiricism would demand specific data about certain things, and oftentimes people confuse, well, I don't know if it's a confusion or what, but somebody that considers themselves an empiricist will already have conclusions about things that or occurrences that are I guess intangible or immaterial or unmeasurable, as being untrue, explainable, or currently we lack the technology, but the existence of something that is immeasurable to the material world is like an impossibility, or nonsense or whatever. And it's funny because I was also thinking about how political beliefs might be driven by personal issues, personal traumas, personal illnesses, like personal insecurities and all kinds of stuff. And I started thinking, like, what if it's the same thing for this sort of stuff? What if it's like a horseshoe, in the sense that it's all driven by the same fears and the same discomforts? The people who demand that there is no alien life and no proof of it are just as afraid of something as the people who demand that there is, and it's real, and they saw stuff even if they can't prove it. So I feel like those things are the same thing. They're driven by the same fears and insecurities, strange kind of needs to fill in the gaps, and inability to accept the unacceptable, or accept the irrational, or unprovable, combination of both. I don't know. What do you guys think? Or did I make any sense at all? I tried to be as clear as I could. I just don't.
I agree, because I've seen, like, as you know, a lot of Christians. Not that I'm putting I'm not generalizing, but a lot of Christians tend to find the number of the beast on anything.
Well, kind of like somebody who follows like numerology or something.
Yeah, because you have Revelations, which is a really it takes a lot of. I mean, not even the best scholars could dissect what it all means.
Yeah, I mean.
But Christians today have a tendency to see prophecies coming true, and we're nearing the end.
It depends on what group. I wouldn't say Christians particularly, but
yeah, some Christians. That's what I mean. I'm not.
That's why That's why I usually stick to like theists, because it's a little bit easier, or because it's a little bit easier to kind of talk about it as a whole.
I just see it a lot, especially also with what's going on in society today, and I see there is a lot of things just they don't work, and but some groups have a tendency to just say it's the devil's work. Everything is the devil.
I've had family members like that.
Yeah, and it's just very simplified. I mean, if you look at the number 666, for example, in symbols and signs, it's actually the 6th day of the creation, and then you have Noah's Ark, which is 600 years when God recreated after Noah, and then you have 6,000 years where some Christians believe that the beginning, not 5.8 something billion years.
Yeah.
The beginning of man, which makes the number 666. So it's actually our imperfection, the creation of man, where the heavenly number is 777. But Christians have a tendency to latch to that number and say, oh, it's the number of the beast. And because there are some, it's in scripture in Revelations, it says, for example, when you receive the mark of the beast, you'll receive it on your hand and your forehead. And you can't buy, or you can't, what is it called? You can't
Barter,
yeah. And some people believe it connects with, for example, that we're going towards a future of a cashless society.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about.
Knows.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Seeing congruent relations between personal beliefs and
exactly.
observed phenomena. Right. But what's interesting is I believe there's arguments where you can talk about how somebody that's considers himself to be a high level materialist or empiricist could be doing similar sort of leaps of logic, or similar sort of rationalizing for the purposes of fulfilling some sense of impending doom or existential dread. But Magenta, what are your thoughts on it? Because I'm sure you've read a book or something about something like this. I could generally count on you to have read something about something in particular, about this idea or these ideas.
I haven't read a particular book, but it reminds me of the superstition that people have around certain numbers. Like the numbers containing 4 or like 11, is it, or something like that? I can't remember the exact numbers.
Yeah,
but
so it's usually 11, 13, so on and so forth.
Yeah. 11, 13, and like 4 sometimes.
Things of that nature.
And then, and...
Yeah, 4 is Japan.
Yeah,
that's
4
like the number of death.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, it all seems to stem from, like, some kind of, like, confirmation bias, right? It all seems to stem from, like, this need to fill in the gaps where they seem to exist, the need to rationalize the irrational, even if it's via superstitious means or otherwise. And like I guess I see a correlation between like the faith, a faith in the scientific method, for example, or almost not a faith in it, but like scientism, I guess is the right word I'm looking for. I see a lot of people who proclaim empiricism to be scientisms or statisticists or whatever. I don't know how do you even say that? Because you know the difference, right? Like, are you familiar with scientism? Not Scientology, but scientism. It's kind of like it's similar to like an appeal to authority regarding science, to the point where it's used almost like a religion. And it doesn't necessarily like it also kind of it also kind of corrupts the scientific method in that oftentimes if like a specific scientific paradigm exists, then it becomes like a totem, like an almost religious kind of blasphemy to produce results or information that runs contrary to established understanding. And so it turns into an almost belief system in which things start becoming questionable. And the entire point of science is to question everything and anything, to the to be as diligent as possible when it comes to analysis and interpretation, and to check and double check and so on. And there's a lot of people that turn like a specific paradigm and scientific thought into like a scientism of sorts. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So,
I think so.
so the rituals they have are kind of spiritual or religiously engraved, but they use science to disapprove. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of ironic. Like, they want to use science, but the way to go about it is actually pretty ritualistic, if you know what I mean.
No, absolutely, and not the method itself isn't necessarily that way, but the when human motivators, when politics, when personal ambitions, when a bunch of other stuff gets involved, and then also the human need to fill in the gap, to rationalize the seemingly irrational. Yes, it can turn into like almost a ritual, a superstitious sort of ritual of sorts. Yeah, absolutely. It turns into a religion for a lot of people, which I find just so interesting. And you know, it seems like two sides of the same coin at times for me. When people are arguing for or against something in the name of empiricism, like I don't understand why we can't have both. Like I don't understand why we can't say that. How do I explain this? I think you should be able to say, okay, so we can only achieve this specific level of knowledge, right? By these means alone that we possess at the moment. But perhaps there are levels of knowledge that are unattainable or beyond our comprehension, and impossible to test in any capacity via like whatever physical means are even available to us in the future. Even if we're talking science fiction, perhaps there are things that we cannot, with our hands and perhaps if we create like constructs that are capable of like achieving certain goals that humanity cannot do or perceive, then maybe, like if we're talking like AI or something, or they can, you know, produce results that no human brain ever could. Then maybe you can achieve goals like trying to measure the intangible. But even if you could, like, it would have to be translated into something that a human being could understand in any capacity. And even then, it would be like some like piece or a shadow of what it actually is. But my point is, I don't think that there's a lot of people out there that want to accept that. Including people that consider themselves empiricists. They don't want to accept that there are things that will always and probably consistently remain beyond our reach. And not because of parameters, like physical parameters, but because it's just it's irrational. Like it's something that is absurd, or something that is intangible to the point where we can't, all you can do is maybe rationalize it, but only by accepting certain premises that can't be proven and must just be accepted. There seems to be this inability to accept something because it cannot be evidentially proven. And I'm not saying that you should do away with you know, that sort of thinking. In fact, it's highly functional in 90% of cases, I would say, or more. But I also don't think that thinkers should remove themselves from that possibility that such a thing can exist. I don't know. Like, and so like if you're talking about like ghosts, right? You know, I zoned out so much. When I zone back in, I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Good thing I'm not in VC. Fucking, you know, no. Okay, let me make it real simple. If we're talking like, say, ghosts, right? Let's just say ghosts. Oh, ghosties. If we're talking ghosts, then it would be like you have the people that just adamantly believe in ghosts and say that there's absolutely no way to explain this via scientific means. It's just, it's tied to my religious beliefs, or it's tied to my metaphysical beliefs, or whatever, and it's magic, and so on and so forth. And then you have the people that are like, oh, it's an explainable phenomenon. I've seen people that consider themselves like very empiricist to talk about it like as if it's like quantum mechanics related, and that there are no actual spirits, but they're like it's like time related phenomena and shit like that, of like reoccurrences imprinted in a dimension or some shit like that. So, like, why can't it be both? That's my question. Why can't it be both?
When it comes to your question, or what you're talking about, like having both spiritual, like the higher, which we nobody came back from the dead and could answer that question, and then also being and like imperialistic and trying to, or scientific, just trying to find answers without the spirituality. I always come back to something Slavoj Zizek said. He's like a Slovenian philosopher. He just thinks about a lot of stuff. He doesn't have a conclusive answer to anything. A true philosopher, he just goes about and just, thinks and thinks and thinks. But he said something that really resonated with me. He said, for example, with the crucifixion of Jesus, he said, there's something absolutely unique, because in that moment of, Father, why have you abandoned me? For a brief moment, symbologically, God himself becomes an atheist in the sense of getting a gap there. There's something absolutely unique. It means you are not simply separated from God. Your separation from God is part of divinity itself. That kind of hit me. It was really interesting.
No, it is interesting because I forgot who was discussing it, but like what's interesting is, especially because there's between Christianity and, say, like Judaism, there is a very, very interesting separation in the relationship between how humans like the humans who say are Jewish individuals and the Christian individuals. There's a different theological perception about how they interact, or what the relationship is with God or whatever. Because in Christianity there tends to be this kind of there doesn't seem to be a conflict there. There's not supposed to be a conflict or a battle between God and his people, right? But if you talk about Judaism and some of the theological issues there, that this conflict between faith and God and so on and so forth is almost condoned. It's a positive thing. It's seen as a good thing, because it's seen as part of, like, kind of like you said, it's seen as part of the divinity of it all. Is the conflict itself, the battle between, I guess, what is supposed to be faith and doubt, right? Like that conflict itself, if we're talking Judaism, is more acceptable, and it's more of a thing it's part of the process. You get me? But if we're talking Christianity, or if we're talking Islam or something, then that's when it becomes more like associated with ideas like blasphemy and an incorrect sort of way of thinking. I'm not trying to say that one's better or the other, but I just find that interesting, that not all theist like religions have the same, especially like biblical or Judeo-Christian or whatever. If you want to, I forgot the actual term, the better term for it. What's it called when you're trying to refer to the origin of all these religions? What do you call it? So, do you guys know? like the origin, the tether that connects Judaism and Christianity and Catholicism and Islam. They're Abraham. Yeah.
Monotheistic.
No, there we go. Urs just said it. Abrahamic, or
Oh,
Abraham,
yeah.
Abrahamic. Yeah,
Mm.
the Abrahamic religions. They have this tether, but the way it spreads out, what oftentimes people forget is the relationship that the practitioner and God or their deity have, the dynamic that exists between them. It's not always unquestionable worship. That's usually how it's depicted, right? Unquestionable worship, faith. And if you talk about certain religions, that's not the case. There's always doubt. It's part of the process for them, and it's kind of interesting to me. And I feel like science should pick up a page from that as well. I feel like it should doubt itself. It should doubt its processes. I'm not saying to denounce them or no, that's insane. But to doubt and question its own validity, to question the God that is empiricism, to do battle with it, because if you do battle with it, you might come to new conclusions and interesting results. And I'm not saying do battle like, you get what I'm trying to say, like to question the very paradigm of what is acceptable when it comes to, say, an empiricist perspective. And I think by doing battle with that and doing battle with God or the metaphysical, doing battle with both things, both natures, you then produce a result that's much more useful and handy, as far as for the human progress or whatever you want to call it. Does that make sense? Or it makes sense to me. I don't know. Anybody in chat? I like how I lost everybody. Like there was like 8 or 9 people watching, and then I started going into my nonsense, and like I'm not gonna do them. Don't worry, guys. These are not gonna be my streams from now on. I'm just having fun today. We'll have sillier fun, not fucking crazy, fucking meta physical fucking bullshit philosophy nonsense every time. Science grew out of hermeticism, which was very much about questioning everything. Okay, yeah, good point, Jake. Good point, Jake. Because before I started this channel, I don't think that's lacking. Maybe in the general public though. Yeah, frilled shirk. Before I started this channel, I had a different channel that didn't like get off the ground. I was just experimenting with stuff I could do on the internet, and I had a cult channel where I would do readings of ancient occult texts. So I would actually like read passages from various occult literature, mostly like hundreds of years old, some of it. And it was the first time I was reading them, and it was just for the purposes of experiencing reading them on a stream, like and recording that experience, and then kind of relating my opinions or my immediate reaction to some of the words in those texts. Yeah, Jake G, sounds pretty cool. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of cool, but it didn't. It just, how do you get people interested in fucking occult literature? Like, it's so niche. Like, it's so whatever.
What
Oh,
did
Magenta
you
left.
read?
No.
No.
Oh no, she's back.
She's
Okay,
back.
good. All right. Go. What were you saying,
No,
Tina?
what did you read specifically? Because I've kind of, how do you say, dwelled a little bit in my younger years with the occult and mysticism and
Mm-hmm.
New Age and all
Yeah,
that.
it's all fun shit, man. It's fun. That's how I see it. It's fun.
But I mean, it's I don't understand like the profoundness of it, but I found some things really interesting. For example, with the New Age movement,
Mm-hmm.
the idea of all these deities come together as one. And I was like, oh, that's kind of beautiful idealistic thought. Like,
Mm-hmm.
No matter if you believe in Buddha or Muhammad or Jesus, we can all come together. That's originally how I saw it.
There's a word for
But
that.
then,
It's fuck. No, it's not
yeah,
Is it Zoroastrianism? Is that the one I'm thinking
yeah,
of? Zoroastrianism? I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think I'm
Me,
thinking.
me lacking English skills, I don't know. But
It's all good.
if somebody knows, please like
Yeah, chat.
put it on the, yeah. But what I found was some of the same teachers that promoted New Age, like Helena Blavatsky, and
Mhm.
it just it just kind of blew my mind. I mean, I'm not simplifying her, but it just blew my mind that she was referring to The Secret Doctrine, her book,
Oh
which is
yeah. I know him. Oh,
yeah.
Theosophy. Yeah, duh. That's
Yeah,
the word. Theosophy. Thank you, Iman.
the
Thank you,
ad
Iman.
the the adversary of Lucifer, which I know was like against going against God, but I was just like, how does that fit with the new age that's promoted? It just the whole thing just kind of I kind of lost it. I like what I mean lost. I couldn't follow like what was going on.
No, it gets
um,
incredibly complex to the point of absurd. To the point of
exactly.
yeah, to where it just seems like silly nonsense, but it's not. It's just absurd because it runs in competition with our need to, I think, especially the schizoid, the need to kind of compartmentalize everything into neat compartments that we can more efficiently understand the world around us. And I think the Zoid maybe does this more consciously, and the average person probably does it more intuitively. And so, like, because see that's another point I wanted to bring. This is all connected, by the way, the whole schizoid thing. Because somebody brought up a very good question, and I was going to get to that. Blast Fantaven. God, man, choose fucking. I'm just going to call you man. That's fucking long. I don't even know what that means. If anybody cares to translate. Uh, do you think the interest in occultism is more common among Zoids? Yes, absolutely, 100%. And the reason is because as I had mentioned maybe like 5 months ago when I first started talking about some of this stuff, one of the things that drew me to like talking about being schizoid is that when I did more research on it, one of the the criteria or one of the overt, I think, factors was a interest in having idiosyncratic ideas, an interest in the esoteric, the occult, the strange, the whatever. There's a commonality there for sure. I doubt it would have been written down in such a way if there wasn't any kind of commonality. But and what I've discovered also amongst just talking to you guys on the server and everything, yeah, there's an interest in philosophical uh, conversation that delves into like the very esoteric and oftentimes strange. Even if it's just individuals talking about drug fueled experiences and in combination with theological positions, in combination with pagan views, and so on and so forth. Like it always gets really messy, and it's really fun. And and I think the reason that occurs, if I were to make an argument for why that happens, it would be why the idiosyncratic specifically thinking occurs. And I don't even like the word idiosyncratic because I don't know. It seems almost pejorative in some ways, but I think the reason it happens is because we are disconnected from the world in a conventional way. And I think we had mentioned that in yesterday's Crybaby stream. I'm going to change it to Crybaby stream. I'm going to change the name to Crybaby stream, Reddit Crybaby stream. Because I didn't even do the Reddit shit. I just started fucking whining. But I think what happened is similarly to, I think it was Magenta. Was it Magenta you that mentioned about the isolation creating a different variant of human thinking?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I've noticed is that both staying out of mainstream life, I guess. I mean, I hate that word, but like just like
Yeah,
not
I get it.
like isolating and not being a part of social media, especially. There's a
Especially in this
separate,
age, yeah.
yeah, there's definitely a separate, like I feel like often my ideas don't resonate with people generally. Like there's like a certain narrative, like based on what's being appearing on the TV and in the newspaper and on Facebook
And what's the
recently.
water cooler talk and
And
so on, yeah.
yeah, and if you don't tap into that, then people don't necessarily yeah, people won't respond with like enthusiasm. They'll just sort of brush it off,
Yeah, because it's not being fueled by the similar parameter.
Mm.
Because honestly, one of the main driving, and you can, if you want to talk, especially evolutionary psychology, and the arguments for the reasons for that occurrence that you're kind of describing, it's a human, not unification, human. They're motivators that unify humanity in some respect. There's probably a specific word for it, but it's unifying factors. So there are certain unifying factors, common humanity. There we go. There's certain aspects that can be considered sort of a paradigm of commonalities within human beings, right? And generally speaking, those things aren't bad. A lot of those things are sometimes good, and they can lead toward good progress and everything. But because the schizoid is highly isolated, perhaps we don't link in to that commune. We don't link into the commonality, the human commonalities as well. We probably have some that we attained on our own accord, or some variation of it that's similar, but we don't quite fall in line with it, and so it leads us to start thinking in ways that are highly abstract, and we essentially become people out of time, right? And there's always that meme on the internet about like, oh, I wish I was born in the 1800s because, oh, it'd be so much better for me, and like all this shit, right? For the schizoid, honestly, I don't think there is a single time in human history where we would have been any happier. Or any better. Like, because, and I'm not saying it's great now, but you know what I mean, because I think the problem is specifically, and I'm not even just talking about schizoid. I'm talking about the madmen of the world, the cluster A's, the mad, right? Isn't it mad, sad, and bad? No, mad, bad, and sad, right? I think that's what Amy called it in one of the things, one of her video things. But anyway, the mad seem to be more prevalent in this disconnect, and so I think what happens is that it doesn't matter what time period, we were probably historically the madmen and women of the past. And, we were the people that were burnt at stakes, that weren't like insane in a kind of like a ranting and raving sort of manner, like, or violent manner, but because of the words we said or the things we spoke and the thoughts we had. And when they're made audible or written down, those are the very things that gets our head stuck on a pike. So I think a lot of the times the schizoid is or the schizoid individual, or the cluster A's more than anything, are those people in history that became. They say no man is an island, right? I think the schizoid, or a lot of the cluster A's, can become islands of sorts, and due to that, the thinking becomes idiosyncratic, and then thus it leads us into very strange and aberrant sort of avenues of thinking that can be considered by many to be dangerous or impractical. right? Because that's another word they like to use for cluster A's, is that we have impractical thinking. Have you heard that one? Have you heard that term before? Impractical thinking.
Yeah, I think we're not very good at vibing with people, you know, like.
Yeah, the term is used in impractical or impragmatic thinking. And that's because that thinking might not run congruent with the time period in which it was brought up, right? And so that's why I find it funny is that people that were either destroyed financially, or people that were killed or imprisoned, that had these kind of just for creating, just for producing the idea. They not necessarily the individuals that took some of those ideas and incited society in some manner or another, but the individuals who produce these idiosyncratic ideas throughout history. That's all they were doing. They were just thinking outside of whatever paradigm existed at that given point, and so they oftentimes died for it. And
yeah, you blasphemer.
right, but it's not even. But that's what I'm saying. There still exists blasphemy. Blasphemy, even in a secular world, is real. Secular blasphemy. That's a good channel name, huh? Secular blasphemy. Damn, that's a cool band name. Okay, I should start that. That's a fucking cool ass band name. Secular blasphemy. Or like a punk band, huh? I don't know.
Yeah,
It
and
sounds like a cool punk.
like in black metal bands, make the name really obscure, so people
Yeah,
like
secular blasphemy would probably work, huh?
what does this mean?
Yeah, when it's like all fucking crazy looking. Somebody in the Discord
Yeah.
posted that awesome meme of like, I think it was the Wojaks progressively getting more doomer and then eventually just becoming inhuman. And it was just like the different bands and how the text and the fonts just get impossible to decipher. And it was like actual bands. And the ones at the bottom were like black and death metal, mostly black metal, because that's when the names of the bands just become spikes with eyeballs and shit. Like it just it's not even letters anymore. That's honestly, you want to know something funny, is that's why some of the most intelligent thinkers, in my opinion, or one of the most interesting thinkers, are like dudes that that write the lyrics or that lead black metal bands, like from different parts of the world, because oftentimes they're I guess what would be considered misanthropes in some regard, or just they're probably just Zoids. They hate the world for a variety of reasons, and they're all like very well read on a ton of topics, and they're just angry like me, and that's part of why I love that those genres, the super angry, highbrow genres. I would say more black metal than like a lot of death metal. It just depends, but a lot of black metal tends to be very highbrow. I guess, and that, if you want to say like, no, lyrically, I'm not saying like musically. It's I don't know. Maybe you can argue that, but it tends to be highly technical and highly poetic, like very poetic, and its lyrics, regardless of your inability to understand what the fuck they're saying. But yeah, sit down and read some black metal lyrics, people. Like there can be some profound shit, profound, heavy, philosophical shit.
It does, and when they kind of go to their origin, like their language, their culture,
Oh
it
yeah,
just
it
somehow
becomes more
it just
complex.
flows. Yeah, it becomes complex for somebody on the outside who doesn't understand, for example, Norwegian language, but it's so profound, and the pantheism and like being part of nature and just like observing nature is just really profound. Like it's not as dark as people perceive it to be on the outside. They think it's super like
Well,
Satanism
some
and
are. Well, most black metal bands aren't even satanic. They're pagan.
Exactly. Exactly. That's
They're
my point.
yeah. And especially it's interesting because a lot of black metal bands are kind of like the origin or the source of the more kind of metaphysical aspects that inspire their music are associated to that particular nation or country or whatever place of origins. Most pagan beliefs that date back long before I guess Abrahamic, or not long before, but that ran congruently with Abrahamic religions, but Abrahamic religions eventually took over. And so, like, if you talk South American black metal, if you talk Central American, if you talk Asian black metal bands, then you start seeing that a lot of these black metal bands are just they're tapping into like some ancient traditions and perspectives that predate the Abrahamic religions that kind of took over the course of centuries. And a lot of the resentment from these guys is coming from that. Whether that resentment is necessarily justified in this day and age, I don't know. That's a different argument. But that's why they seem to produce ideas that like get really wild, get really interesting.
Yeah, which is ironic because they stick to the Abrahamic things, and if you read scripture and Revelations, why are you fighting against the inevitable? Like, it's all gonna come to an end anyways. Why do you have this satanic panic? It's in scripture. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's so stupid when I see like people sticking to their religious beliefs and saying, "Oh God, the world's gonna end." Oh, but
Isn't
we're
that what
not
they
meant.
want though?
Yeah, but exactly. You see my point? So why fight it if we're not,
Oh,
if you as a Christian you're fallen, right?
mm-hmm.
The earth is the world is the devil's playground. Why are you fighting this place that you don't belong to? That's what I don't get. Like when you see people judging black metal bands and oh, they're so satanical, and I'm a Christian. You
Yeah.
don't really have you really read scripture? Like, are you really Christian? Because it is gonna come to an end if you are truly Christian.
I mean,
It's
in my belief, aren't
inevitable.
they? Aren't they like the rapture is well, just the rapture
But
itself and everything else is metal as fuck. So, because like that's
but
a
you see my point, right?
no,
It's
yeah,
so
no,
stupid
absolutely.
fighting it. It's so stupid
Well,
fighting it
the
when it
fighting is
goes like,
useless. The fighting is silly because like, sorry, I'm fixing it down here.
yeah.
But the it's one of the things that I've argued with people. I'm like, dude, the Revelations is metal as fuck. Like that shit's fucking some fucking cool ass like shit. Like if you want to talk
Yeah.
about like gruesome, fucking heavy, insane fucking Slayer levels of like lyrics you can produce out of something like Revelations, like it's just shit's fucking badass. You got fucking harlots on fucking beasts and like towers and
You
buildings
have
and
You have Leviathan in the
yeah, you have
waters,
cool
but
ass
then
shit.
you have the beast of the earth that actually takes the image of the beast of the water, which is the Leviathan. It's so
Yes, cool.
confusing.
It's
It's
so
metal as
cool.
fuck.
It's so nebulous. Yeah, like, but it's so rad.
Yeah.
Like, you can write a cool ass story out of that. And so, like, that's why when somebody is like into like the some of the genres of music I'm into, but they're like these militant atheists, I'm like, why? They have some cool shit. Like, who cares? Like I don't understand militant atheism. That shit is just confusing as fuck to me. Like, and I don't, just like I don't understand religious zealotry, I do not understand militant atheism. Both things are equally bad, in my opinion. And both things I do not think will achieve any particularly good goal. Like the notion that getting rid of theology, like say if you're a not even an atheist, there's a anti-theist, right? I think they're called. The idea of an anti-theist utopia is just stupid. That's just stupid. Like, that shit's dumb as fuck. Like, we're gonna be just as garbage with or without magical thinking. Fuck you. It's because we're always gonna be magical thinking, like all the fucking time. And whether it's under the guise of science or under some metaphysical premise. It's so stupid. Somebody put, let's see here. Many black metal bands are also one-man acts, more common than in other genres. So Zoid confirmed, yeah. Honestly, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if most black metal, especially the lead singer slash lyricists, are Zoids. Yeah, because there is a lot of one-man acts in black metal. Very isolated individuals. William A.
Yeah.
Death to all but metal. I don't say that, but I will argue that metal is so much better. In some regards.
I mean, when it comes to how the lyrics are structured, when it comes to in metal, it's very close related to classical music when it comes to like how they play the technical aspect of the instruments.
So much music theory and all that shit like that they do.
It's really profound, and people just judge it because they don't understand.
It's loud clanging, screaming noises.
Yeah, but I would say there has been a wave when it comes to, let's say, the genre of black metal.
Mm-hmm.
It was really profound, stuck to pantheism, stuck to some really like very well written lyrics and technicalities with the music that was just really profound. I mean, yeah, some say, "Oh, black metal sounds like I'm playing it in the garage."
Yeah, but that's the thing.
No,
that's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like this. I see. Personally, I'm not shitting on any genres, especially not yours, Magenta. I like your genres as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying it became. My point is, it became more gimmicky. Like, Emperor and all the other bands that sprung from like Mayhem and Buozum and those bands.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with them, but
No.
it became very gimmicky and very commercialized.
Well, yeah, most music in general has gone down that road.
Exactly, but
yeah.
but I see like yeah, I lost my point.
I'm sorry. Was that my fault? If it comes back to you, please just jump right in. William A. I like the combination of metal with a strong pop classical melody and harmonies like some Queen's early work or Avenged Sevenfold. Errors says, to be fair, a lot of occultism in black metal is just artificially fabricated to get cred. It's marketing strategy. Yeah, Errors, for sure. There's a lot of there's definitely plenty of cynicism within the black metal community as far as producing for marketing purposes. Yeah, I'm not gonna deny that. That exists in every genre. But no, one thing that came to mind when we were talking about things like black metal and stuff is oh yeah, that's what I was saying. That life is insane, loud, clanging noises, screeching, hollering, indiscernible static, and just ear-piercing, like mind-shattering, incomprehensible gibberish. That is also a part of life. And I feel like the genre of black metal does a very good job of creating something that's close to that incomprehensible madness and anger and fury and irrationality and the lashing out into a existentially negligent universe, I guess. So I think in that sense, black metal captures that. It's the other side of the coin, of something that is beautiful and structured and symphonic.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly,
yeah,
and then I think I'm very annoyed that it gets labeled as Satanism. You don't even know what Satanism is, and
well,
Satanism, if you really
we're
read
talking
up
Church of Satan. That's just
upon,
it's. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
you know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
totally like different. That's different, and if you actually study Satanism, there are really good messages there as well.
Well, it's
So it's just
it's
like,
atheistic mostly.
yeah,
It's an atheistic position. There was a YouTuber that I always found kind of funny. That said it once. He said, Satanism is atheism with a floor show. That's what he called it. It's atheism with a
Yeah,
theatrics and rituals.
I see it. I see it as like it's like Pastafarianism
Mm,
crossed with like occultism. You know, like with theatrics. It's
yeah,
mm,
like yeah.
it's fun. Fuck it. I like the imagery. I mean, look, I've got this cool black. Dude,
I
like
mean,
I like Blackcraft shit because well, it's not just
Anton
Blackcraft.
LaVey was
Oh, love it.
theatrical as fuck.
He was a
Like,
fucking.
seriously.
The guy was practically a theater student. Like, I
Mhm.
just picture Anti LaVey like it's like he almost created or not created. He almost wanted to be like the lead performer in the play known as the Church of Satan. Like it was like how do I explain it? Like I feel like a thespian that's like really like over the top sort of thespian that guy was in some respects, and a lot of I guess religious authorities and figures that are out there are just thespians. They just love the limelight.
But you know
um
who the
Let me
the
see here.
purest form
William
of the
A said repetitive riffs and low tuning have their own appeal, but I find the kind of spastic cacophony of drums in, say, Slipknot more interesting. Pulse of the Maggots, there is order in the chaos. Yeah, no, that's definitely good. That's also good. That's the thing. It's all good. It's it's all good. The symphonic, ordered beauty, as well as insane drumming and madness and chords that are seemingly disconnected and falling apart as you listen to them, and a combination of both order and chaos. All that shit is awesome. All that shit's cool as fuck. Jake G, does that make it a fake religion like Discordianism or the Church of the Subgenius? Um, in a sense. Why did my music stop? Oh, that was weird.
it's
Can you guys
the
hear me?
ordo up chaos.
Did my stream stop?
The order.
Oh,
The
I can't
order
hear
out
you
of
guys.
chaos.
Okay, hold on.
Mm.
Give me 1 second. My fucking something took a shit in my audio. Give me 1 quick second here. See if that does anything. You
Mic
guys,
on.
there we go. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, for some reason my headset took a shit and I was like, I couldn't hear anything. I thought it was just the music, but it was everything you guys were talking. I couldn't hear you. Eman Del Cesar, praise Bob. Yeah, I know about Bob. Yeah, I love Discordianism and the Church of the Subgenius, but those are like, those I think are like overtly satirical. Both the fake religions like those. The church, if we were talking Satanism, it's more subversive in its attempts to be satirical, because it's more philosophically driven, and it's not like absurdism. It's not like the worship of the spaghetti monster or something. You get me? Like, it's
Yeah, it's more like occultism, right? Like, but
yeah, it's kind of like the belief in occult, like the introducing the occult literature, like getting occult literature, and then turning it into something that's what's the word, like symbolic and representative of the human experience and the human condition. It kind of similarly to how there's a lot of people who study theology in a kind of a symbolic sense, or you know what I'm saying, like theist, like they study the Bible as a tool for mankind to use in a symbolic sense. They don't actually like believe in the mystical sort of aspects of it. And I feel like with the Church of Satan, you're kind of looking at a similar situation, but with like occult literature and things like that.
For me, it's very gimmicky.
Yeah, for sure.
Theatrical, gimmicky, and they have some occultism symbolism implied there, but it's
It's also
just
about getting your dick wet.
yeah. But the most
They fuck
like
a lot.
if we're talking about true like really rock star, really like we talked about black metal, we talked about all these things.
Mm-hmm.
Who is really for me truly crazy, insane, and very fucking if I could put it in a word, satanical and really occult as fuck. That would be G.G. Allen.
Oh yeah, G.G. Allen.
He's like,
No, I know.
He took a shit on the stage and he just threw the shit on people. Like he didn't give a fuck.
I don't think.
Is...
I don't know if I wouldn't be comfortable saying that G.G. Allen was like a practitioner, like a legit practitioner of the occult or studier of.
Not in that sense. But if you look at the real, like, don't go beyond the theatrical. Go beyond, like, no, it's not gimmicky. That guy really did it.
No, that guy was just bad shit. But the thing is, I think with G.G. Allen, if you want to talk G.G. Allen, I think it has to do more with like to me he seems like the real life equivalent to the character in a Lovecraft book that saw the eldritch gods and lost his mind and stopped caring about anything. Like primal expression of humanity. Yeah, so like to me like G.G. Allen is the type of person that was like, "Oh, nothing matters. Let's go bananas." Like and he did. And he went bananas. Because nothing to him, like everything became arbitrary and insane and like cosmic absurdism to the point where why not take a shit on stage? What dictates that I cannot fling poop at people? What dictates that I have to follow any kind of laws or whatever? Why does my life even matter? He put himself in positions constantly in which his life was in danger, especially via drugs and just physical stunts he would do. But yeah, that guy is what you get when you go full on cynical existential nihilism. Like it's
that for me is metal as fuck. Like,
it is metal as fuck. It just I don't know, because I've heard criticisms regarding him pertaining to like some stuff that like definitely would not. I don't give a fuck how cool or metal you are. I'm not down, especially like with kids shit. So and rape and shit like that. So I know I've heard some stuff about that and accusations and stuff like that. I don't give a fuck how if you think that stuff's okay because nothing matters, then let's just go ahead and kill you then, I guess. I don't know, because nothing matters, right? So I'd rather you not be raping everybody or murdering innocent people. So
yeah, definitely. But I think that was just controversy surrounding him, because what I read was actually from people who knew him. He wasn't like that. He basically just sang on the stage and went crazy, hit the mic on his head. He started bleeding, defecated on stage, through the poop.
No, yeah, that's what he's well known for. He would just
started fights with his audience. Like, it was really crazy shit. But the things about rape and stuff, he had
it might be bullshit.
Relationships. He had relationships, but what people said about him, that's not true. Like, but I don't know. Like, the media, they'll always paint a picture. If
Oh yeah.
Make an image of something that they don't understand.
Why am I hearing I'm hearing a certain amount of static. Is it coming from me? Can't be right. Uh, is it either Tina or Magenta? Just can. There we go.
It's not me because it's not me because it's my voice is like it wasn't lighting up on the Discord to show that I was speaking.
Yeah, nobody's is lighting up. That's what's weird.
Mm.
It stopped.
It's probably yours then. Okay.
Wait.
That's weird.
Nobody's lighting up. How do we know?
No, it was weird. I was getting yeah. It's gone now though. But as soon as Magenta started talking, like it kind of went away. I don't know if it was. Maybe it's just Discord doing something fucking weird. I'm guessing because were you guys able to hear that kind of static, kind of white noise? No.
Oh,
Okay.
it's just my sleep paralysis demons.
Oh, okay, cool.
They want to
yeah.
join in,
yeah.
and Magenta shut them up. I think
Yeah,
that was
good job,
what
Magenta,
happened.
the anti-sleep paralysis demon extraordinaire. Thank you for taking care of that. Let's see here. William A. Gigi apparently influenced the mumble rap artist Little Uzi Vert. I'm not sure if you heard the song EXO Tour Life. All my friends are dead. Push me to the edge. William A. also said Marilyn Manson is Kids Bop Gigi Allen. Yeah, no, for sure. that shit is Kids Bop. That's why, like, when I was growing up in like the 90s and stuff, I'm old as fuck. I'm 36, so I remember seeing like a lot of these like bands coming out that were like popular like on MTV or in groups like Marilyn Manson and shit like that, and I'm just like, okay, guys, like it's not that big a deal. Like, I was just like, okay, I listen to way crazier stuff. Like even in high school, I was just like, I listen to crazier shit than this. Like this is not like, and that's what would make the news. And I'm like, well, I'm really glad you guys haven't listened to any of these other punk bands I grew up on. Like, because you guys really wouldn't like that shit. If you have such a problem with something like Marilyn Manson of all things, that shit was fucking patty cake, compared to what was, some of the stuff I was listening to, especially if you talk gore grind and fucking all that fucking gore metal shit. I kind of got over a lot of that stuff. It got boring, like the kind of shock metal kind of stuff, but I still appreciate what it was at the time. Seth Putnam was the ultimate troll metal. I grew up listening to stupid shit like Guar as well. Fucking remember Guar? Fucking Guar. Oh my god. Fucking Guar, man. I fucked her with a frozen turd. Let's see here. Remember when Ozzy bit the head off a bat? They don't call him the Prince of Darkness for nothing. The guy can really talk now from all the drugs, I guess. No, Ozzy is not the Prince of Darkness. Ozzy is the Prince of unintelligibility and speaking. He's the Prince of brain damage due to drug use. Like that's what I call Ozzy Osbourne, man. Like it's so funny to me. Like every time, when Osbournes was popular, the reality show, and anytime they showed poor Ozzy, like mumbling about and meandering about and stuff, the Princess and the Pea, William A. I always felt kind of bad for him because like he just seemed like this poor cash cow of a man that was just so drug addled that they would just throw him in front of a camera and he just be like, and like that was all that was happening, and I felt kind of bad for him. It felt like they were just taking advantage of some poor like brain damaged old man, because half the time, man, like he was gone, dude, and he wasn't gone in a cool occult fucking metal as fuck way. He was gone in a like, this is sad, my grandpa has Alzheimer's kind of way. So it always cracked me up though, for sure. And like what made it especially funny with Ozzy Osbourne, especially in his later years and now, is when they would show like he's still dressed in his gear, like he's still dressed in his old man grandpa version of like his spooky shit. And like, so he's still wearing he's got his nails painted and his fucking, his rings and all his shit he's doing. And I'm sitting there oftentimes wondering, I'm like, who's doing his makeup? Like, does he have people that sit there and like give him a pedicure and like dress him up? Like I feel like even when he hits an age, Ozzy Osbourne, when he hits some age, same thing with like Alice Cooper, like when they hit a certain age where they just want to be an old man and be left alone, people in the morning are gonna still wake them up and put like black shirts and, and jackets and shit on. They're gonna be like, okay, Grandpa, one leg at a time, and they're gonna like put him in leather shit, and all he wants to wear is his pajamas. But whenever they go out, they're gonna fucking force him to wear like chains and fake piercings and shit. Like I don't even know if half the time like aesthetically they even give a fuck about that anymore. Like they're just like I can't picture some 70 something year old guy that's that gone on like just damage from drug use and possible ODs that got covered up and all kinds of shit, and he's still like, oh, I really want to dress in a way that I find aesthetically pleasing.
I mean, I totally concur because I've seen Alice Cooper live in his like 60s or whatever. He's a vampire. He's fucking ancient.
Yeah, well, vampires don't age, so he's not.
Oh yeah, true. But he was so incoherent. Like I'm like, okay, and then he rehashes the same like, Poison, like one of his best
Yeah, oh my god, man.
the hit song. And I was just like, what are you saying? I got really like confused. Like I knew the song from what I heard on Spotify, but I was like, huh? Well, what are you saying? And I saw the Scorpions live.
Oh
And
my
it was
god.
just like those guys. I mean, they couldn't.
They say don't meet your heroes.
But listen, they couldn't move on the stage. It was like
Yeah, they were
just
they
like,
were paralyzed by scorpion venom.
yeah.
And they-
It was
no,
Old age.
that's like people always say don't meet your heroes because you'll be disappointed. That might not necessarily be true, but definitely don't meet your heroes when they're like 80. Because almost nobody's going to be super cool at 80 anymore, or at 75 and stuff, unless they took really good care of themselves. But yeah, like it's really funny to me, man. Like at a certain point, you got to call it quits when it comes to certain types of work. It happens to authors too. Like they hit a certain age, and then you're just like, man, you should have written your last book, or stick to some memoirs or something, because it's just you can't do it anymore, Bob. Like put down the pen, Bob. Like you can't. It's not gonna happen, buddy. Like, and so then they end up with like, it sucks too, because then their legacy ends with like a shit album or book. Like, and Alan Moore. Oh, fucking Alan Moore. But it always ends up that way. So like, dude, have you I like how I started this shit wanting to talk about one subject. See what I mean? We end up talking about music or some dumb shit. One thing that I find funny is like Ozzy specifically. Dude, did you listen to the last shit they released? It's god awful. It's so fucking bad, dude. Like his last year 2020 or 2019 album. It's some of the worst shit. It's so, I'm sweating like crazy. It's so fucking bad, dude. It's so fucking bad. Like and not bad in a it's just like, why the fuck are you doing this, man? Stop. I feel the same way about stuff like Metallica and shit like that. I'm just like, just fucking stop. Like, you guys can't do this shit anymore. Like, it's not getting better, it's getting worse. Stop. Anyway, let's move on from that. Alan Moore is into the occult as well. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised at all. But Alan Moore's a prick. Unfortunately, like that guy's kind of an asshole, dude. But not in like, but well, a lot of geniuses when it comes to certain types of media are kind of assholes. But Alan Moore is just like a venomous motherfucker when it comes to people. Yeah. I've seen him say way too much shit that I'm like, damn, you're a fucking asshole. But I kind of respect it at times, honestly. But anyway, what was the original topic we were supposed to be talking about? Oh yeah, aliens, ghosts. Let's get, since I want to do this for like another half hour or so, maybe less. I want to get into some silly shit. So, Tina, Magenta, have you guys had experiences with the paranormal?
Yes, I have, but I don't know if I want to get into it because it's really fucking complicated.
Like, so did you like take part in a ghost orgy or something? With ghost penises everywhere? No?
No.
No?
Oh God, how do I explain this?
Yeah, give us a nice little concise version of your paranormal experience, Tina.
I delved into like the Ouija board and I delved into
Yes,
you,
we're all
you,
familiar with
you...
Hasbro. the great Hasbro.
No,
I got you with that one, huh, Magenta? Anyway.
No, but seriously, you know, angel cards and you know all these like
Oracle
tarot
cards,
cards.
tarot. Yeah, I do
Yeah,
tarot myself, and oracles. I've done a few.
yeah. And you know where what they're named? Like they come from like who's the guy? Not Helena Blavatsky, but you know the guy Ozzy also sings about.
Crowley, Aleister Crowley.
Crowley, yeah. That's
Mr. Crowley! Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, those cards, and they fucked me up, but I
Oh, you're talking about the Hermetic?
The
Hermetic deck, the tarot? His version? Like the Crowley version of the tarot?
No, what I did, I went beyond that. That was my initial, how do you say, like, initiation into the occult. So I started actually dabbling into
sex magic.
I dabbled into calling spirits.
Oh, okay. That's dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Actually, it seemed like I knew what I was doing because
they always think that.
Because what happened? Because you have to have a sigil. Every demon in hell has a sigil, so you have to proclaim your love for that.
The keys of Solomon.
For Lucifer, and you have to call that demon. And while you're like writing the sigil on your hand with like black candles, the whole seance thing, and I did that. And what happened was a week after I got sleep paralysis. So what I'm saying is my calling or my what I wished for was maybe a little bit too much.
So what you're saying is that a demon possibly gave you a mild stroke.
Yeah, and more. So that happens. So
like how often is a attack on the soul just like a stroke, you know? I sometimes wonder.
Yeah, the stupid thing I asked was
what'd you ask
if
for?
I was ever gonna get disconnected, like never emotionally connect with somebody intimately and find maybe love, you know what I mean? Like
all you did was ask a demon if you will ever find love. That's it.
Yeah,
that's such a wholesome thing to ask a demon. That's such a that's not asking for too much. Shit, like you can ask for much worse than that.
But it was because what happened was I was visited by a demon a week later.
You gotta tell me. Just give me the good stuff. Don't skip the juicy parts. I want to hear the demon stuff. What would it look like?
Hairy and actually there is a painting of it of sleep paralysis where there's like a gnome, or like the small being that
He was
sits
tiny. He was
on the
small.
woman's chest. Yeah, sometimes small,
Oh yeah,
sometimes not,
it's kind of like an
sometimes
incubus looking guy, like an
y-
incubus.
exactly, but
Yeah, yeah.
a male incubus, hairy, and it just
Big ass
like
dick. They usually have big
uh,
old dicks, demons. No,
I
no
don't know
huge
about
cock. Okay, you would have
I don't
seen
know
it.
about
You
the
even if you weren't
I
looking,
don't,
you would have seen it if he had one. Guess not. It's not one of the huge cocked demons. That's a bummer.
well, let me tell you, I made the huge mistake of challenging that force of spiritual nature that I thought I could control, which
The
I thought was
hubris.
just, which that, you know what I mean, like which I thought was just so innocent of me, just pleading for finding intimacy and some sort of connection,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so disconnected. What
Yeah.
I got was tenfolds of what I actually was looking for. I actually dealt with a force that was individual and a force that visited me every night and started talking to me and started behaving like a fucking norm. Not a normie in a way, but it was its own
It
identity.
was trying
Like
to
I
give you a
couldn't.
friend. It was trying to be your friend. Like, hey, I'm gonna be your buddy. We're gonna be your friend. A demon that wanted to
Yeah,
hang out and be a normie.
yeah, but the friend was really giving me profound knowledge about the universe and prophecy about what was going to happen before it happened, and just it was very knowledgeable, but the thing is it manipulated me.
Of course.
so so
Casper the friendly schizoid.
yeah, it was just too much. Like I couldn't handle, like I thought I had bound something, if we're talking
Oh.
occult, bound something to my, enslaved something to my own
Oh man. You want to know?
desire,
You want to know?
but that wasn't what I got.
You
Like
know?
I
You want to
got
know where you
so much
fucked up
more.
like really bad right there. Even if you got even if you got a lot of the ritual stuff correctly and you followed things through like you were supposed to,
Mm,
and you took it seriously and you respected the entity that you were supposed to a point.
mm,
The part where you fucked up is the very nature of your question displayed weakness.
exactly.
So you fucked up
That's a
so
good point.
bad. Like the
That's a
very
good
nature
point.
of the question made a malevolent force go, "Hey, why the fuck I gotta be enslaved to you, bitch? You don't even nobody even likes you." Like, you know what I'm
No,
saying? Like
it liked me, but the thing was the
no, it liked
entity
you
had
because it
its
can
own
manipulate you.
force.
Yeah,
Exactly.
but
It
that's
had
that.
its own life.
No, but that's
Like
what I mean.
it
Like the question itself
yeah,
is a target. Like I
yeah.
feel disconnected and emotionally lonely from everything and every sentient life in the universe. It's like, oh, okay. How about I be your friend? You know?
Yeah, just what I want to say is don't dwell, like don't do that stuff. Like you'll get more than you bargained for, and you won't like have normal, like let's say a normal dream where you're like flying or swimming or you're
I wouldn't totally.
participating in something like, let's say, sexual or dangerous, or it's not a normal dream. This is a real entity that visited me every single fucking night when I fell asleep. Like it was just I bargained more. Like I bargained for more than I asked for.
And what's funny is that a lot of the stuff you're describing is just gonna make people want to do it more. Like, it's
Yeah,
not gonna. No, but
don't
you're
do it.
don't
Like
stop telling
don't.
people to not do it. They're gonna make them do it more. It's a psychological reactant, literally, to tell people don't do something. You don't want, like, this is how it sounds to those people. They're hearing this. You don't want to delve into the black arts because you might summon a demon that
But yeah,
might give you no,
devil in
no,
the
okay, devil in the arts. No, because you might accidentally summon a demon that's gonna give you like really intense sex dreams, and he's gonna be your friend, and
intimacy
he's
and
gonna
everything.
and
Yeah.
he might want to have sex with you in the middle of the night, and you're gonna enjoy it, and you're gonna come a bunch. And it's really dangerous. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds all like awesome as fuck, like to the right person.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not because it isn't just a regular sex
No,
dreams.
no,
It's
I know.
actually an entity sitting by your bed and talking to you about the universe. Everything.
That doesn't
It
sound that
sounds
bad to a
really.
lot of people. That sounds cool. Like, you're not
Yeah,
telling me anything that sounds bad. Or, do you realize that, Tina? Like, to me, that you're not describing anything. Like, there's this demon, and he tells you all kinds of cool shit, and he tells
but
you about the
listen,
universe. Like, like how's
listen.
it? Yeah.
I'm trying really to explain it.
Okay.
Even when you just want to be left alone, the thing just arrives and starts talking to you. It's like an entity of itself.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like
its own
being
individual sentience. Yeah, I get it.
exactly,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
when you're just like, oh, I'm
But you
just
let it
gonna
in.
go
You
to
let it in at that
uh,
point.
exactly, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna go to sleep. No, like I'm just gonna, and you get disturbed. Like I got poked. I got whispers in my ears. I got touched on my back. And the thing was waking me up, and it started talking to me. I'm like, what? And then it started like caressing me and loving me, which is fine,
You
but
start feeling a poke on your lower back.
yeah, it's just like leave me alone. Like I just want to be alone, but the
Yeah.
thing just didn't get it.
How,
But it was so much
yeah, I get it.
stronger than I was. It's
How'd you get
so
rid of it?
much.
Or did it just
Well,
dissipate?
I actually got rid of it, which is the ironic thing. Um, I suffered from sleep paralysis for 8 years. So and the thing is, it sucks. It's almost like just read upon sleep paralysis.
Oh no, I'm
It's
familiar
been
with it.
there.
I'm familiar with it.
It's been there
I
through
don't have it,
the
but I know about it.
yeah, to the beginning of age. Like it's been there in the Renaissance. You see
Oh yeah.
these famous paintings of that
Yeah,
are
of
descriptive
demons,
of it.
of demons
Y-
preying on you in your sleep. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
uh,
tied to the legends of the vampire too, as well. Like, people that suffer from
exactly.
sleep paralysis would recover from it the next day and say they were visited by a vampire in the middle of the night that hypnotized them.
Yeah, and
Because
I
they had no
think
other
it's
explanation for it.
I think also uh with like UFOs and aliens when people say I got visited, I think actually that's a sleep paralysis as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, sleep paralysis could be a combination of factors.
Mm.
I love this. It doesn't. It all comes back to my original point. Thank you for that. Is that
No problem.
Now, is that is somebody that would be highly empiricist about something like sleep paralysis would just blame it on neurological activity, shut down of certain functions, and so on and so forth, blah blah blah. And then somebody that doesn't believe in that stuff would, claim that it's alien in interruption the mind neurological attacks. Somebody else might say it's demons. Somebody else might say it's an angel communicating things to
Mm.
me. Whatever. Why can't it be both? Like, right? Like, what? Why? Like, imagine if if it is some unknown entity causing the empirical sort of aspects, symptomatic aspects of it in a medical fashion. But it's some other thing causing that via. So you could explain what it's doing, but you can't explain what's causing it, right? Because what's causing it is something that is unexplainable, at least currently. Or something that can't be just empirically proven, by our means, by normal means. It would require esoteric occult means in order to make it a more provable thing. Like, and so and then that's the funny thing. If you're dealing with something like demons, they're not stupid. They're not gonna put themselves in a situation where you're gonna be able to prove them. Like, no, they're gonna fucking remain as quiet and DL as possible. Why the fuck would they want their shit out in the open? That would ruin all their fun. That would ruin everything that they like to partake in. Let me look at some of these quick chats here. Let's see here. I once had sleep paralysis. QQT saw a literal demon in my room. It was the worst thing I have ever seen. Yeah, yeah. There's I think a documentary on Netflix. It doesn't do that good of a job, but it's on sleep paralysis. William A. The depiction of the hag in art and mythology is thought to be based off the sleep paralysis experience. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. A woman who sits on your chest while you sleep. Before that, somebody posted something interesting, but I can't find it. Somebody said that they were... Somebody posted... Did they delete it? Because I saw it pop up, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it. Hold on. Somebody said that they saw a demon... with a spider with a demon head on it or something like that. That they experienced seeing something like that. I am haunted, not by ghosts of any kind, but my terrible life decisions. Which were influenced by ghosts and demons. Maybe that's what the UFO of the ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs were depicting. Oh, maybe they were depicting like some weird other sort of activity. Maybe. You know, like, I just think all of it is connected in some fashion or another. Magenta, how about you? Any cool ghosties or aliens? Or spookies come at you in the night?
Only when I was younger, like.
Ooh, those
sleeping.
those are awesome. Oh, there we go.
I
William A.
remember
Sorry,
yeah.
William A. I saw a spider and a woman wearing a hijab who revealed her face to be a demon. That's what William said. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, Magenta.
Like I think it was a combination of living in because I lived in a very I grew up in a old Edwardian house with like 4 floors, and it was like, you know, cobwebs and floorboards sticking up and
The classic.
like,
The classic haunted
yeah.
house.
Yeah, classic haunted house.
And British homes are much older than American homes. Much
Yeah,
older.
well, it was Edwardian, so.
Oh,
that's,
Edwardian. Oh, I didn't hear that part. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, okay, that's old.
Pretty old.
But what did you experience?
Just like, I mean, I rationalize it, and I think it's like suggestibility, because I didn't see anything visually, but it was always like crawling feeling on my skin, you know, when I'm like, when everyone else is asleep,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling and, you know, hearing like odd sounds like rustling and things, and like the rustling of the trees outside. I remember because there was like a big tree, and the branches were that long that they'd hit the window.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now I don't really get it so much.
What? How old were you?
Like 6, 7, 8.
What's interesting, the paranormal experiences that I find the most fascinating are the ones where the individual who experienced them was consciously trying to rationalize that it wasn't anything like that while it was occurring. Those are the ones that I find the most interesting. When a person tells me like some kind of paranormal story, and then they're like, and it was this, and I swear I saw it. Like I'm less inclined to be interested than when somebody's like explaining to me that they did everything in their power to like try to dismiss it or think it away or rationalize or intellectualize the situation because they just didn't want to believe it. They didn't want to believe it was real. They regretted it, or they regretted walking in or doing whatever they did that might have caused whatever happened. Like, and that they were just sitting there going like, no, this isn't real. This is just a figment. This is just something that no. Like, I love those stories. I love when that kind of collision happens. When that happens, because it, for me, it gives the story more credibility than somebody just proclaiming that it was an alien, you know? Like, because then to me that sounds more like confirmation bias. Like they've always wanted to see an alien or a ghost, and so now they saw one, or they took something that occurred and just like misconstrued the situation in order to fill some gap. So the stories from people that don't necessarily aren't seeking stuff out are the ones that are most interesting to me, personally.
And because like I always try and rationalize things and think, oh, it's just a wind, or like
It's just this, it's just that.
there's some other like rational explanation for it. But what's interesting is I think as a schizoid, because I live in my head a lot and I'm very sensitive to like sounds and noises.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I'm a lot more like I can rationalize it in like a more understandable way, but back then it was like the being dissociated. Like it feels like these things are actually happening, and that
Yeah.
experience is still there, even though that I can like have hindsight and look back and go, well, back then I felt like this. The experience of it back then was like a paranormal experience,
Mm-hmm.
Does that even make sense?
No, absolutely. But what about the other way around? Because the thing is like, if something happened during childhood and then when you get older, you can kind of you can intellectualize what occurred and then just assume that it was just merely a trick of the light and a confusion, or if you have some kind of PD stuff, episode of disassociation in combination with this comorbidity that caused this particular event. So thus, it was this and paranoia and this and that, and so you could rationalize it, right? You can kind of think about it as something that wasn't paranormal or strange or necessarily anomalous, right? And then it makes me think like what if it's the same thing that I'm talking about? What if it's all cope? Right? What if it's all cope? Like, what if it's like you have an experience like that when you were younger or something, and then you've developed enough structures and enough manners in which to defend yourself against the possibility of such things being true or correct, that you end up coping to the point where like you're literally lying to yourself. I'm not saying that's what's happened, but it's just interesting to me, like to think about that in that kind of reverse fashion. You get me? Like that the reality of the ghost in the stairs, the vampire's bite, is more frightening and more existentially dreadful to the individual than the thought that maybe they were just being paranoid or crazy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm not saying that's your case, but I'm just saying like I feel like rationalization can be a cope to the completely absurd or the unexplainable. That it can be a cope mechanism, just like any other, because you don't want to face the void. You don't want to face the possibility that there's a boogeyman under your bed, because that's just too scary, too invasive, too intrusive, too dreadful to even fathom or want to comprehend, for one reason or another. But that boogeyman might be there. He might be sitting there listening as we speak. So, and I find that really interesting and not. I don't personally find it all that scary. That's one thing that makes me, I guess, very idiosyncratic. Is that if I were to meet a thing under my bed, if there was a boogeyman under my bed, unless it's immediately attacking me, I'd want to have a conversation with it. I'd want to just sit there and chill, because I know it's very, very difficult, especially for a schizoid, to get subverted. They're highly resistant to manipulation when they're aware. Not every schizoid. Some are highly what's the word, susceptible, because they're very indifferent and incapable of fighting back in any significant way. Not to say that's bad, but just a passive. Yeah, passive, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. Yeah, this is fun. You know what I think? Okay, so I was doing the Reddit stuff. Let's get off the topic, because I'm gonna have to call it quits soon here. But I keep saying that, but this is fun. I want your opinions on something, and in chat as well. Oh, by the way, let me read that last chat. It says, William A., why is that paranormal activity never seems to affect corporate lawyers or CEOs, but rather meth addicts who live in mobile homes, South Carolina? Just a thought. Well, I don't think Tina's a meth addict, but unless we don't know that about you, Tina.
What?
No, because
No, it's more profound. Like my story is very detailed. I just gave you like
no, but
a
I'm
small
no, of
portion
course,
of
no,
it.
of course. I'm just telling because William said
But
that. Why is it always meth addicts that have paranormal experiences? But I'm joking. I'm saying like Tina's not a meth addict.
I wasn't a meta addict. I just kind of delved into some very occult,
Stuff, yeah, no, for
spiritual
sure.
stuff
Yeah,
that I shouldn't have done because I bargained more than
yeah, I get it.
like what I asked
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
So, but yeah, there was a whole story to that
Maybe
afterwards.
one day, maybe we could delve into that sometime. That might be fun.
Yeah, definitely.
It's super fun to me. But no, man, William, there's plenty of very not meth addict people that have had some weird fucked up experiences to varying
Yeah,
degrees.
I'm actually just being an advocate to people that seek spiritual guidance, which is fine in itself. Just don't delve into Satanism and occultist
Well, Satanism
and try to
or demonic.
yeah,
Yeah, that's different. That's how I do
demonology.
it.
Like don't call upon Abath or Beelzebub, because that's what I did, and it just really literally fucked my whole
I have.
life.
You know what's so fucking hilarious?
Um,
I have a tarot right up there somewhere that is. I haven't used it. You'd probably be like, don't use it. I have
but
a tarot that's specifically for summoning demonic entities.
I don't know what happened to me. I just know I did it, and I didn't really believe in it. Like I've tried everything, like being a teenager, you try all these
Yeah.
Ouija boards, you try everything, and it's just like, it doesn't work. It's just for giggles, it's just for
And then something
fun.
finally did work.
And something finally did work, and it stuck to me for 8 years, and I fucking regretted my whole existence. Like, what the fuck did I do? Why did I summon this thing? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
then I actually read an article that even mediums who have an ability that is, they have a spirituality, they have their spirit, their frequency on we're talking about like
Yeah.
energies, is so much higher, but they might not be aware of it. So when they actually sit in a seance where they summon the dead of some relative of people and stuff, they actually get physically drained.
It has
And then I
a
started
physical
thinking,
impact on their body. Drains them
yeah, and
of
yeah, and then
resources.
I read upon that, and I was like, maybe I have that, but I haven't tapped into it. Like I don't really know what I actually have, but I must be on a higher level of energy.
See, if talking words like the problem with using words like energy and stuff, it sounds like
Yeah, I
it
know.
sounds
It
like
sounds
what's the
really
word woo
pseudoscience.
woo.
Mm, mm.
It sounds like woo woo shit, but no, but I agree that there is some
But
real component
but
to some of this stuff.
but
Yeah.
but listen, I only did that because I didn't know why was this happening to me? Why was this thing latching on to me? I know I summoned it, but
Well, because
how can
you
it
gave it an in.
but
You
how can it visit me? Like let's be logical here. How can I be visited for 8 years every single night I fall asleep? and this thing pokes me and starts talking to me like you're talking to me right now. Like, it's so
Well, it's
real.
not. If we were to take it at
But
face value, what you're telling us, then it's not logical. It's not something that you can explain in a normal fashion. It's not something you can rationalize with your current human capabilities or understanding of reality. Like, it's not. It's not.
that's
There.
true.
They,
That's true, but I tried.
no, but it's pointless probably. That's my point. It's an acceptance that there are some things that perhaps you cannot do that with, and I think perhaps that's one of those things, or something of that nature. And
Exactly. And exactly, and that's why I advocate for, if you ever delve into that realm of trying to,
summon demons and the such.
yeah, don't do it.
I have to see, but that's the
Don't
thing.
do it. Like,
I have
and
to
it's not,
be the devil's advocate here, because that's what I do. Okay, so I have to somewhat disagree with you, only on the premise that there is a possibility that that it had to do, your situation had to do more with the practitioner and less to do with the practice. In that you were young, you were susceptible, you told you were not, and I don't mean this in any kind of like bad way, you were naive enough to tell a demon your very weakness. And I'm saying that that experience, obviously as dangerous as it could have been, or detrimental to you, could be more about the practitioner and not so much about the practice itself. Does that make sense? There's a possibility that that's what it is. That's my argument.
yeah,
That's my
that's where
personal argument.
where I disagree, because
That's
I
fine.
wasn't actually young. I did it when I was 23 or 24,
It's still really
and
young.
it just for giggles, just
That's
to
what I'm
like
saying. You weren't taking it
I
seriously. So
yeah,
because of that,
and
that might
that's
have
the
to do with
point.
why it
That's
didn't
the
work.
point.
No, but somebody that
But
would
that's
take it seriously, someone that
no,
did might have a better understanding of how to do it without it doing what it did to you, because they would take it
but
seriously.
listen,
Sorry.
yeah, I didn't take it seriously. I've
Hmm.
tried so many things in life, and you know, and I didn't take it seriously. I was just kind of, okay, I can summon Abbott, I can summon Azazel, I can summon Beelzebub. Let me try that. And I did it, and I followed the instructions. What I didn't expect was a week or so later that my prayers would be heard, and I suffered from sleep
Yeah.
paralysis ever since. And I
No.
was like, whoa, I actually I didn't believe it. Like, I was just doing some ritual, ritualistic things.
Hmm.
I actually didn't really believe it,
That's what
but
I. That's what I.
shit, it actually
No, but
is
that's what I
affecting my
mean.
life.
Like, do you understand what I'm
Mm,
trying to say? Like, what I mean is the very fact that you didn't believe it, and that you were doing it for shits and giggles, and you were doing it for some like some other reason or whatever you want to call it, could definitively be the reason why it ended up so badly for you. It's kind of like
how so?
it's
I
kind of like
don't
it's kind of like trying to handle a certain type of machinery, and all you did was read the instructions. And then when you break your fucking wrist, you're like, I don't understand. I read all the instructions. Or you did it for shits and giggles. Like, it's kind of like doing something very serious, very possibly dangerous, and then being inexperienced in it, and and not taking it seriously. You know how, like, when people tell you that when you do something, that especially if it's dangerous or something, you need to take it very seriously. This isn't a game. You know, you've heard that saying, that cliche. This isn't a game. This is serious. Treating something serious like a game can oftentimes lead to detrimental results. And that's kind of what I'm kind of arguing. I'm kind of arguing that if I'm pretty sure, and this is under the premise that, all this phenomena occurred like you explained, right? Um, under that premise, I'm arguing that there's a possibility that another individual that would have taken it seriously taking additional steps, taking additional precautions, would have not ended up in the negative situation that you did. You get what I'm saying there? Like, it was it's similar if you were to, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a tightrope walker, you don't want to, or you're practicing to be a tightrope walker, you don't want to do the 200-foot rope. You want to start at 10 feet or 5 feet because you just in case you fall.
But some people who delve into the occult, who are serious.
Oh no, they got fucked over too. No, they. But
Yeah,
it usually takes a
so
while. It usually it takes a while, or they make a mistake, or that it's hubris, or they took on way more than they believed they could do more than they actually could, and then you know, it could lead them down some corruptive or destructive paths. No, for sure, I agree with you 100%. But that's like any other I guess skill set or practice or something. You have to moderate. It's all about moderation, right? It's all about humility, being humble, and being moderate about the situation. It's an understanding, like, especially when you're talking demons, like if I want to get into the occult a little, it's an understanding that you have power over this demon, or whatever you want to call it. You have power over it if you take the right precautions and the right methods, right? You do it because of specific rule sets that exist in the nature of its existence, right? And if you follow those precautions and you respect the I guess would be rituals, or you respect the appropriate steps, and you respect, not even just do the steps, you consciously respect the steps themselves and what the steps represent on a symbolic level, and you respect the relationship or the connection between you and this entity or whatever. And I'm not even just talking to you. I'm talking about just in general, regardless of the practice, the cult practice you're trying to do. If you don't do that stuff, you're just gonna get fucked. And it's as simple as that. All those, the intent and the conscious effort of the individual is just as important as the ritualistic steps of
yeah,
the action.
I get that. Like,
So that's
might
what I'm
have
saying.
conjured it out of my own mind because that's what I desired and needed, and it kind of came into
Well, that's what it
fruition.
became. If we're
Like,
talking like a demon, that's what it
um,
became. It's like, oh, this girl is in need of
yeah,
this. She's weak because she needs this. She
yeah,
doesn't take it seriously. So
that's very easily, how to say, very simplistic in my situation because that's not what I desired to begin with, and
no, that's what I'm
I
saying. It doesn't matter what you desire to begin with, because
and that's what
the
I
demon would
got.
take over. The demon would take advantage of your
Yeah,
lack of seriousness. Like it's kind of like if you were interested in like, say you wanted to buy a car. It's like a car salesman. Say you wanted to buy a car, really need a car, but you don't know shit about cars, and you don't know about how much cars should be worth and how much certain things, like, you didn't study up properly and take seriously enough the value of how cars should be appraised or something. And then you go and a salesman says, "Oh, this girl needs a car. I'm going to take her for all she's worth." A demon's going to do the same thing. Is what I'm saying.
yeah,
It's going to do
yeah,
the same thing as a used car salesman. It's going to
yeah.
take the same. It's going to take the same advantages. It's going to go, oh, she doesn't know. She doesn't take this seriously. She never thought this would happen. She thought she could come to me with this question that shows weakness. She followed the steps but didn't believe in them. Oh, this is awesome. This is a great setup. This is perfect. Like, I could take advantage of this situation. That's how, if you wanted to talk about like malevolent thinking, like malevolent, psychotic, sort of almost demonic thinking, that's if it has no moral quandaries or moral issues or ethical problems with taking advantage of a human mind or life or destroying it for its own means. If you're talking about an entity that doesn't give a fuck about that stuff, it's going to take advantage of any weakness. It's going to take advantage of any susceptibility or control. whether it exists or not. I'm not even arguing like, oh, it happened, it existed. I'm just arguing that if it were to, theoretically, that's the advantage it would take of the individual.
I mean, reading in between the lines a little bit, like I do think, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to rationalize these phenomena.
Do your thing.
But like, I think a lot of it relies on altered states of consciousness, and so like more fundamentally, like as far as the occult's concerned, the only main interest well, I'll just say it as it is. Like I think this is why things like chaos magic is probably the only true method of
reality manipulation.
Practicing the occult, which is not practicing the occult, but practicing having a magical practice that can alter your reality in a sense. In that what you're doing is you're playing with different ideas and concepts that aim to influence your own thinking and understanding of the world, but it's based on results, so you, I guess, do whatever actually achieves the desired outcome you want, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
So you could pick up a I don't know, you could join Christianity for 2 days and then switch to Judaism and then switch to Kabbalah. And
but which it didn't. Which it didn't. It didn't. What I desired wasn't my outcome.
Because your outcome stopped mattering. Because I'm sorry, your desire stopped mattering is what I'm saying. Your desire stopped mattering. If there was a demon involved, it stopped mattering because it took advantage of your situation.
Yeah. But in from the chaos magic perspective, you would say, well, that didn't lead to a good outcome, therefore you do something else. Like you don't stick to one methodology. But obviously you're playing with fire, right? Like, and I think our minds, I think we have to put out good into the world in order to receive. Like, there's no such thing as a free lunch. So, and I think our minds are aware of that. So if our minds think we're like secretly getting something for free, it's like it doesn't really allow like.
No, and that's what I mean when I say the respect.
Yeah.
This respect and sacrifice.
Just goes,
accountability.
It's like you are. Yeah. It's like you're in debt. You're in debt to the universe or something, and your mind just
is aware of it somehow.
And
no, but I agree with you. But that's where the accountability comes into play. That's what I mean when it comes to seriousness and respect and proper shows of sacrifice and so on and so forth, even if they're symbolic, especially when you're talking about the occult. If you don't do those parts properly, it's not going to work, or it's going to backfire. Because if you're correct on that chaos magic level, it's for the same exact reasons. You're not taking it seriously. You're not sacrificing a part of yourself. You're not being humble about what you're doing, and you're not being virtuous about your actions, in a sense. And so that lack of virtue in action, just like in any other action in life, oftentimes leads to detrimental results. And I think it's the same with the occult. If you don't do it in a virtuous fashion, in a one in which you are holding self-responsibility, accountability, and such for your actions and decisions, and the seriousness of the situation you're participating in, then yes, it's not going to work. It's not going to produce the results you want it to, and in fact, it's probably going to produce the opposite of what you were looking for. That's kind of, I think, what I mean. I do have to shut this stream down. I'm having a blast, by the way, guys. Like, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Tina and Magenta. This is awesome.
No problem. It
And
was we dwelled into a lot of topics. It
oh
was
yeah, it's
really amazing.
super fun shit. I love it.
Yeah.
But in any case, let me just do some quick stuff because I got to shut it down. But okay, so people that enjoyed this little weird chat that we got into and all the directions it went in. Oh, and by the way, really quick, there is some funny shit in there I want to read. Jake G said, "Summon a demon next live stream." Wait up! I'll set up the pentagram. The only demon I ever knew was my ex, a real battle axe. I like that. Being haunted sounds like a drag. I feel sorry for her. Yeah, it's shit. People can lose their minds studying esoteric information and conspiracy theories. Their entire reality disintegrates, and they have nothing to stand on. Only, trust me, only if you do it for unvirtuous or without a plan. Is when that kind of shit can disintegrate you. When you don't have a set of principles and boundaries and an understanding and respect of what you're doing. William said, "Keck, meme magic. Meme magic is real, man. I saw you. But it might be tied more into the whole chaos magic stuff. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Oh, that's, yeah, I'm already familiar with that. But anyway, so Patreon, if you enjoy these kind of conversations, I know it didn't really go into the whole schizoid thing, but I honestly think it ties in. I think it ties in very significantly. The interest in idiosyncratic views.
Extremely.
Yeah, and
it's extremely schizoid.
Yeah, it's very much so, and I want to continue talking about this stuff in this lens, through this like kind of this perspective. So if you guys like it, like I said, Patreon, PayPal, Bitcoin. If you're not spending your money on anything else, help me the fuck out. I can use it to try to get this be bigger and convince the people around me that it's not just a waste of time. Please, give me our fucking money.
And also, guys, if oh my god, if you want to share anything like on the chat, any conversation, anything we could talk about, just seriously, that would be amazing.
No, yeah, it's great. I love when people drop shit on there. It's so much
fun. Hear about other schizoids. Like,
I want to hear schizoid paranormal experiences. That'll be fun. Cluster A experiences. The A files.
Sorry, I was just like trying to get more people in because this is really fucking interesting. It's really good.
It's fun. Okay, so if you guys like, sub, all that kind of bullshit, tell me in the comments if you thought this was interesting, the subject matter and how it tied in and everything. If it's more interesting than me just fucking talking on shit that's on Reddit, which is still kind of fun, I might do both. But point is, if either way, like we can have, like, I wouldn't mind having like a stream that's occasionally into occult and paranormal weird shit and so on and so forth, and theoretical shit, and then like having a different stream that's more interesting for like people that want to talk about, life events and experiences with schizoid and more like slice of schizoid life type shit. Like, we can separate that, because obviously it'll just kind of go bananas if we start mixing all that shit up everywhere. So, but in any case, if you guys enjoyed this, please support me. Anytime I see one of them $5 show up on my Patreon, it just makes me think like, hey, somebody really likes this shit. That's awesome. I want to keep doing this, and it's cool, man. It's better than doing a backflip. I'll tell you that. In any case, thanks a lot, guys, and thank you for enjoying this. Oh, and very quickly, here, I almost forgot. Hold on a second. I got something for you guys here. I didn't think I was going to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right? No, it's not dick pics. Don't worry. You'd be sorely disappointed anyway. Okay. So, if you're bored, and mind you, this is kind of cringy as fuck because I was experimenting. Here we go. Where is it? Let me put this. 1 second. Sorry, guys. Let me make a... There we go. This should do it. Okay, so if you want to check out the other stupid shit that I did, there you go. There it is. That's the channel. So if you're curious about I'll put a link here or whatever. I don't want to put it in the Discord, to be honest. I'll put it here in the live chat for you guys I have to sign in. Fuck it, never mind. Maybe one of you guys can do it. But point is, that's the address. That's the one. It's called Esoteric Rambling. I had started it a while back. It was just me, basically. I did a few of them. They're like 36, 37 minutes long. I didn't quite click off, except for one did okay. Like another one, The Sword of Moses. But I think most of it was bots anyway. So the point is, I did like readings, very casual readings of occult literature, ancient occult literature that I had never read before. So everything from Grimorium Verum to Sephiroth to Peter Talbert and The Sword of Moses, Book of the Chemical Arts, the Grimoire of Vlad the Impaler, all kinds of shit. So if you guys want to hear me goofing around and talking about weird lit, that's the one. All right, guys, I gotta go. Peace.